Hi, I'm Curtis, and this is my camper van. It's a 2019 Chrysler Pacifica. I bought it brand new and then I quickly turned it into a little camper van. But this is the third time that I've renovated and turned it into a camper van, so now I've got to make another video. Now up front, I haven't done a whole lot, at least nothing interesting. So let's just go ahead and get started and jump in the back and I'll show you around. So the basic layout is pretty simple. Over here I've got a refrigerator. Over here is a sink, among other things. And then there's a couch, and that's where I sit and enjoy my refrigerator and my sink and my other thing. Let's take a closer look at the refrigerator. This is the Dometic CFX45, I believe. It's a really great refrigerator. I love it. It's one of my favorite purchases. It was extremely expensive, at least in my opinion. It cost me about 800 bucks, but I regret nothing. One of the best things about it is the way it opens. It opens this way, and let me get this seat out the way right quick. But it can also open this way too, if you need it to. In the last configuration, that was actually very handy. I needed to, because I had this in the back of the van, and so I needed to load groceries from this end, and then I jumped inside the van, and then I can take the groceries out from this end. And so that was very handy. But it's also good because the controls are on one side. So depending on how you want to situate this in your vehicle, the direction it opens is kind of important. And this one opens both ways, and you can take the whole thing off if you want. But anyway, it holds a lot of Monster. I'm going to drink one of these as soon as I finish filming this video, and I can't wait. That's why I'm talking fast right now, because it's going to be wonderful. I've also got Pepsi in here for guests. I don't give my Monster away, so I got to keep some Pepsi around for other people. And that's my Dometic refrigerator. Now I had this sink in the last configuration, but this time it has been significantly modified. For example, now there's a TV attached to it. Because who doesn't need a TV attached to their sink? You can brush your teeth and watch YouTube at the same time. Yeah. Now I have this 19-inch TV, and that's pretty nice. I used to just use my laptop, which was okay, but when I'm editing, I like to have two screens. Watching TV and movies on a bigger screen has been great. I really like having this TV here now. Underneath, I put this tray table here, and it's just attached by black pipe. It's been bolted down, and that's been good enough so far. And I like the versatility. You can twist and turn this thing and move it all kinds of different directions. That has also come in handy. So no matter how I'm sitting on this bench, I can always have this tray table nearby, no matter where I'm sitting. The tray table is made of leftover countertop that I had when I redid my kitchen, and I just kept it, and now I'm finally able to use it for something, so that's cool. Another modification I made to the sink was the attachment of this power strip. Seems like a simple idea, but before I just had a loose extension cord and everything was plugged into that and then stuffed back there. And if I ever wanted to unplug my laptop, it was a hassle. But now everything is plugged into this thing, which is attached firmly to this piece of wood. And that just makes life a little bit easier. And that is what it's all about. Underneath, this I'm pretty happy about, because now that I have a Jackery 1000, I can have a toaster. And so this is what I use for making my bagels in the morning, and that's pretty cool. Underneath there we got the fire extinguisher, because it's always a good idea to have a fire extinguisher. I don't expect to ever be on fire, but I have seen other people on fire, and I figure maybe they would like it if I came by with my fire extinguisher. So basically all I did is I propped the sink up on some 2x4s, and then I put this 2x6 or 10 or whatever that is, I attached that to the side, and so the sink is super stable. Under the bottom of it there's 1/2-inch particle board with a hole drilled through it, and there's a bolt going through that hole that's also going into the floor of the van. So this technically is attached to the van at the moment, but no holes were drilled in the van to make that happen. And next to that is a Bluetooth speaker. So yes, I finally bought my own Bluetooth speaker. This was very expensive, so now I don't have to borrow my sister's Bluetooth speaker anymore, which was fine, but this thing right here is ridiculous. This thing has mega bass. Watching movies with this is a whole new experience. It's quite nice. Moving on to the sink, in case you didn't see it in the previous videos, this is a piano bench, and I cut a hole in it and dropped this little stainless steel sink in there. It's got a P-trap, then a little plastic hose that goes into this gray water tank back here. And next to that on the other side is the clean water tank, which this pump is attached to. This pump is pretty cool because it's all self-contained. You don't have to wire anything. You don't have to attach it to a battery. It's rechargeable. So you just plug it in like you charge your phone, you can charge this thing. But one charge, it'll last for weeks. I don't think I've ever had the battery die on it. It's, let me get this TV out the way. Normally I don't even move the TV out the way when I want to use the sink, but now that I've done that for demonstration purposes, it's actually kind of nice. It does give me a lot more space. Maybe I'll do that from now on. Anyway, it's just a button at the top you push, and water comes out. And it's not a lot, but it's good enough for washing your hands and brushing your teeth and maybe washing dishes. And I know throughout this video you've been looking at this thing and you're thinking to yourself, Curtis, what the heck is that thing? Well, obviously it's my couch that turns into a bed, but the way it does that is actually very interesting. So I call this a Wathier bed. I call it that because the YouTuber who invented it and designed it, his name is Wathier, so it makes sense to me to do that. I'm going to put a link in the description below to his video, and you should check it out because in a minute you're about to be impressed and you're going to want one of these for yourself. And in his video he links his SketchUp designs, and it basically shows you how to make this yourself. It's not that hard. It's kind of simple for what it does. This guy is, I think he's a filmmaker slash engineer slash log cabin builder. I don't know. but he's a bit blasé about this thing. I don't think he realizes that this is a game changer. So anyway, enough talk. Without further ado, let me show you what this thing does. All right, so I went ahead and put drawers down here. He had drawers on his as well, but they just look a little bit different. And I was gonna finish it and put a front on it, but I got lazy and I ran out of wood, and so I just wanted to hurry up and get it done. Also, I was thinking about sanding it down and painting it black, but I'm not sure if I'm gonna do that either. But anyway, the drawer, it's got a really heavy duty magnet in the back that keeps it shut so it doesn't slide open while I'm driving. But I think maybe I need to bring it down a little bit because sometimes it's hard to open. But anyway, this is a nice big drawer. If you remember my last build, I had a bed right here. The bottom of this drawer used to be that bed. So she's still with me. And I put a light in here too, so at nighttime when I open this drawer, the light just comes on automatically so I can see stuff. It's on a couple of nice sliders. It's easy close, and then that magnet catches it. So I think that's kind of nice. Time to get to the magic. So when I want to convert this couch into a bed, here's what I do. I bring this forward, push that all the way through, and then bring this down. And there it goes. And that's a bed. And so it's pretty comfortable. It's using a 4-inch mattress that had to be modified a little bit so that it fits in here. It's 3 inches of high density foam and 1 inch of memory foam. That seems to be, in my opinion, the minimum that you would need to sleep comfortably. If it's any thinner, then your elbows and your hip bones, they're gonna go all the way through, and this is just nothing but hardwood under there. And the memory foam just gives it a little bit more, I don't know. If you ever had memory foam, you'd know. Anyway, it is 73 inches long by 48 inches wide. So that's enough room for 2 people to sleep comfortably if they really like each other. In the back, it opens up to a little storage area. And I put actuators on there so it holds itself up. Otherwise, you could just put a stick right here or something, I guess. And I had to tie the whole thing down, so it's using, I forget what these kind of bolts are called, but they're going into the hooks that already came with the car, and that holds this thing in place so it doesn't move anywhere. This is not a very deep space, but it's very wide, so if you've got something flat, maybe a suitcase and stuff, you can fit that in here. Now Wathier, he took his seats out because his van is a permanent camper van. Mine needs to turn back into a passenger van when I get home from these trips. But if you took these seats out, you could have a whole lot of space right in there. I mean, you could probably fit maybe 3 bodies. I also like having this space right here to just throw all my blankets and pillows and stuff, so I don't really have to make my bed every morning. I just throw everything back here and you can't see it, and it's cool. Okay, let's talk about window treatments. Now these are nothing new, but if you haven't seen them before, these are some blinds that I made so that I don't have to keep covering my window with something or sticking things in there. And the way they work is they just come down and you can shut out the view of your neighbors and then they can't see you. And these are blackout blinds, so at nighttime nobody can tell that I'm in here. So it's stealthy, and you raise it up when you're done. Now these were very, very hard to make, very annoying and frustrating, and if you want to make them yourself, I wish you the best of luck, but I hope never to have to make to do this again. Although, because they were so difficult and I had to redo them multiple times, I did actually get a little bit better at it toward the end. But I was left with a lot of extra blinds laying around. I rarely throw stuff away. I just reuse it. And in this case, I'm really glad I didn't throw the messed up blinds away, because then I used them for the back windows. First, let me close the door. Okay. And here comes the blinds. And when the door closes, you see how it got tighter? That's also intentional. It just takes a little bit of adjusting and tweaking, and eventually you get that just right. And the blinds have been cut to fit in there somewhat, mostly just for aesthetic reasons. It works just fine if it doesn't fit perfectly. But anyway, it just slides across there like so, and it stays put on its own. Because when it gets to the corners, it gets kind of jammed in there, and that's what makes it stay. Let me show you a little bit of the inner workings. I drilled a hole. It goes all the way through to the other side on both sides. And then I found this phone cord in the garage. I cut the ends off, and I'm using that as the rails. All it is tied here, just tied in a little amateur knot. And then it goes all the way through here, through the blinds, out the other side, wraps around here once, comes all the way up here, and it goes inside this little bolt. You can loosen that up and then stick that in there. And then it goes through the blinds again, out the other side, and then finally into this last bolt here, and then tighten down. And that's it. Phone cord and leftover blinds, no holes drilled. They work pretty well. Now these rear side windows, I have covered up kind of the old-fashioned way. Can you see me? I call it the old-fashioned way because it's just a piece of cardboard or something like it. And I coated it in fabric, black fabric. There's no Reflectix involved. Because really, once you cover Reflectix in something black, it's no longer Reflectix. Sure, it still may be thick and somewhat insulated, but it's not reflecting the light, which is what it's meant to do. So if you're gonna cover something in something black or paint it black, cover it in black cloth, you could probably use something cheaper than Reflectix. But to each his own. Anyway, it goes in the window pretty simply. It sticks in there and it fits pretty well, and it would almost stay on its own, but just for an extra little peace of mind, I put this hook down that comes with the car. Not sure if you can see it, it's kind of dark. But that holds that in place. And I don't take that in and out of the window every day. I just leave it up there because I don't really need this window. Same thing on the other side. I hope you've enjoyed this tour of my camper van video. I didn't have time to go over every little tiny detail, so if there was something I missed, something you wanted to know more about, please don't hesitate to ask about it in the comments below. I respond to every question on this channel. And if you like these types of videos, please subscribe. Now, if you don't mind, I'm gonna get out of here and go on a road trip.